Good afternoon, Michael Bird again for Home Services Digital. I'm going to start the video today by asking you to do, I meant to have a takeaway on one of the previous videos, but I wanted to talk about the keyword list a little bit, and then I'm going to talk about the game of King of the Hill so you can understand conceptually what it means to be competitive in search. We're going to use this a little bit later. We talked about the common sense searches, and what I'd like you to do is just to write down 5 to 8 words that describe what it is that you do, and go outside of the box a little bit, but hit the common ones. Let's say if you're a plumber, plumbing repair, plumbers, toilet repair, maybe something with pipes in it. Write down a few words, and we're going to use these at the end. So I'll give you a pre-work and then a takeaway at the end. Now to the game of King of the Hill. I use the game of King of the Hill as a conceptual term. We talk with our clients and our prospects about this so that you can understand what's at stake in getting search results and why it is an ongoing process. It's not a steady state thing. It's not a one-time thing. When we were younger, we played a game called King of the Hill, and that meant that somebody was at the top of the hill and they were throwing off or pushing off the people that were trying to reach the top. And of course, the biggest and strongest kids were usually better at this, but sometimes you'd have kids that were sneaky, or we could use some strategy and we could get in there and we could win the game of King of the Hill. The hill that we're talking about regarding search results, and that would be, of course, Google. When somebody does a Google search, are those first 10 results in that third section. In the last email, we talked about the 3 sections. We're talking about the organic results. We're talking about that first, because that's what people think of when they say a Google search, that there's 10 organic results. So that's the hill. So there are 10 potential winners of the game of King of the Hill. The second page, not even in the neighborhood. Okay, you can win by being anywhere on that top 10. Obviously, number 1 is best. Number 2 is good. Number 3 is good. Number 4 is good. Depending on the caliber of the searches, you could still have good. You could get good click-throughs down the list a bit. But it's a game of King of the Hill. When we were playing the game as kids, physical game, rough game, lots of fun, you had offense and defense. You were pushing people off and you were trying to sneak around and maybe get behind or strategize and so on. There's both sides of the typical game, which are offense and defense. In trying to win the game of search, it's only offense. All you're doing is doing good things for yourself, i.e. playing offense. Kind of, I equate it with basketball. Basketball to the layperson seems like mostly offense. They score almost every time they come down the floor. Okay, so you just got to score more than the other guys. Make sure you don't miss your chances. You have to make sure you don't miss your chances when you're trying to win at search. You have the current list of best practices and the things that are important to do relative to your website and other things that are off of your website, called off-page. You play offense. If you play offense well, you will get into that top 10 and hopefully the top 5. If you play offense better than your opponents, you will replace them. You're going to knock them off the hill. There can only be 10 in the first 10. There can only be 5 in the first 5. And let's say you've achieved some of this. Let's say you've achieved a top 10 placement for an important term, such as the common sense term plumbers, or plumbers near me, as we discovered also had a high volume. You're there. Now, remember, there's some other things happening out there. You have other plumbers who are doing things with their website and their SEO, and they may go and hire somebody inside their company or outside their company to do stuff that gives them this offense and gets them into that top 10. You can't sit still, okay? You don't have to be paranoid. You don't have to worry all the time, but there are people out there trying to knock you off. Your current batch of competitors in your geographic marketplace are maybe getting smart about search. They're going to do new stuff. They're going to do new things to try to improve their position. And you also have people coming into the marketplace, people starting a plumbing business. And so they're going to, of course, want to get search results too. So you have people trying to get those top 10 and hopefully top 5 positions. So you can't sit still. But you don't have to be paranoid either. You just continue, get those spots, keep learning the new things, and keep learning the things that matter. Okay, so now your takeaway. That list of words that I asked you to write, I'd like you to do a couple of those combinations. And just do a Google search for plumbers. Do a Google search for toilet repair. And you get the idea if you're in a different business. Do some variations. Do 3 or 4 searches. And then look at that 10 in the organic section. And if you're confused about what section that is, it's the part at the bottom, but not the very bottom. You've got ads again at the very bottom. I demonstrated that in the previous video, so you can go back and look at that one. And just see where you come up. And this is what you might call a keywords analysis done by hand. You're not using hard data here, but you're using pretty good data. Common sense searches, and you're looking for who's in the top 10. This will give you an idea of where you stand. That's our video for today. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Michael Bird for Home Services Digital.